15 minutes quick.
15. Maybe 15 or...
Okay. $162.7 billion was made in profit in 2021 by using one technique, cryptocurrency. Now, cryptocurrency is an electronic currency in which transactions are monitored and records are maintained by using a decentralized system known as the blockchain. Now, I personally feel I'm well enough to cover this subject. I will graduate in finance in the future, and cryptocurrency is the main reason that I got into finance. Now, I looked into it about 3 years ago and have done some research well before this presentation and even made some investments myself. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm an expert on it or anything, but I definitely feel like I am well off enough to talk about it to you guys. Now, in this presentation, I will be talking about the blockchain, the problems that the blockchain solves and implications of the blockchain that can help for our future, right now, present, whenever, and also how the cryptocurrency markets are affected, how, and talk about those a little bit as well. So, what is the blockchain? Now, the blockchain as a whole is completely computer ran. There are no humans have anything to do with it at all. The only thing that humans ever had to do with it is coding, and they also had to do with powering the blockchain. Now, no one truly knows who powers the blockchain, but it was invented by this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, and that honestly is just a fake name because the identity of the person that made Bitcoin and the blockchain has never been revealed, but he did title in 2008 a document titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer cash exchange, and basically he explained all the coding behind Bitcoin, or all the coding behind the blockchain, and he was the first creator of the first coin on that blockchain, which was Bitcoin. So in that he also lists all the reasons it helps, why he did it, and it could, I just say him, but it could be multiple people that no one ever really knows or has ever really known. Now, the blockchain is ran by computer nodes, not humans. So a computer node in a general definition is a smaller mechanism or object that operates for a larger scheme of things. Specific to the blockchain, now let's say that a transaction comes into that specific blockchain, someone's buying a little bit of Bitcoin or whatever's on that blockchain. A computer node will pick up that information and deem it viable or not. Now, if that information, if the initial transaction is viable, then other computer nodes, and also depending on how much you pay for transaction fees, which is always very little, but you could either do it fast, medium speed, or slower, and that also depends the price. So the computer node will take up that information, and whatever you paid, that's the amount of computer nodes that'll help work on that information to make the transaction complete a little bit faster or slower depending on what you pay. So the computer node will take that information, others will surround it, and it'll confirm where it came from, where you bought it from, how much you bought, make sure that there's enough payment, and then it'll also make sure that there is a place for it to go. So if there's no place for it to go, or any of those categories fails, then the transaction is deemed unviable, and then it goes to another computer node, and it'll go through about 7, 8, or 9 computer nodes that all say it's unviable, and then it'll be trashed and discarded. So now let's say that one is viable. So it confirms all that information, and then the transaction is made. So after the transaction is made, it puts it down on the electronic ledger, the blockchain. So in the blockchain, or you can go on Google and search up Blockchain Explorer, and that's where you'll find all the records of that blockchain. So you can find information on the very first person that ever bought Bitcoin, or you can find the one that happened 2 seconds ago. So now let's say that you're at a bar and you overhear someone say that they bought 12 Bitcoin. Now, that's a lot of money. Now, I don't think anybody can outright, at least from where I'm from, just outright buy 12 Bitcoin. So, and you can also see that his girlfriend's been paying for his drinks all night. So you can go to the Blockchain Explorer and you can look up the specific transaction that he's talking about and see if he bought 12 Bitcoin or see if he bought $12 worth of Bitcoin. So that's kind of the basics of the blockchain. Well, there's also like multiple blockchains, and blockchains can be added or deleted or whatever, it just depends on who created it. So, and the blockchains are exactly the same in the mechanics of it, but the only thing that's different about the different blockchains is what you can do with the coins after you buy it. So let's say you buy some Bitcoin. Well, that Bitcoin, you can buy MLB tickets with it. There's a couple NBA teams, soccer clubs that you can buy Bitcoins for, or that you can pay for tickets with Bitcoin. And then some of the largest banks in the world actually offer Bitcoin deposit boxes. And there's also Bitcoin ATMs that you can pull out US dollars worth of Bitcoins, or you can put money into it to buy specific ones. So some of the largest banks in the world work on that. The second biggest blockchain is called Ethereum. Now, Ethereum operates in a little bit of a different way. So with Ethereum, you can't buy anything physical, but I'm sure you've heard about it. It's called the metaverse. And so Ethereum uses those implications to help the metaverse. So you can buy digital assets, digital clothes for your characters, you can buy digital whatever you want, and that's only ran through Ethereum's blockchain. Now, there are multiple coins on those specific blockchains, and anybody can create a coin if you know how to do it and put it on that blockchain. So let's say you create a coin and all of a sudden it becomes one of the biggest ever. So the metaverse or something like that, say you put on the Ethereum blockchain, then the metaverse websites where you buy things will accept your coin as payment for those digital assets. Now, that's kind of the basics of it, but it also can solve problems that we have in today's society. So let's say that let's say someone doesn't want to reveal all their tax information. It's a big company, it's a big person, and they don't really want to reveal any of their information at all. Well, if taxes were done through the blockchain and through like Bitcoin per se, then you can go to that blockchain explorer and then see every single transaction, or whoever did their taxes on that blockchain. You can go see how much they spent on taxes, and it's all just one big thing, but it could be implicated for a bunch of different things. So that's the blockchain. The problems that the blockchain solves that I said earlier. So the one big problem that is trying to be solved through the blockchain, the creator Satoshi Nakamoto said that in his document where he revealed about why it was created, when it was created, the main thing that he wanted to solve was the trust system. Now, it may have been used for some sketchy stuff, but in the beginning, but now it's taken over in a different way. So the trust problem is when you wanted to send money electronically to somebody, you had to find a third party that you trust to do that transaction. You also have to trust that they won't sell your information, steal your money, any number of things that they could do to screw you over. So they thought of the blockchain, where there is no third party interaction. It's only the blockchain and computer nodes that run it. Now, with there being no humans that run it, there really is no way that the blockchain could mess up either. And if it does mess up, then the computer nodes all learn from each other and they evolve, because it's bounced around through about like 8 or 9 different nodes. So yeah. And the second problem of trust, which is discretion. Nobody wants to reveal all their information, but doing a deal like that where it could be shady, you'd want everybody to reveal their information and where it came from, where it's going, and you want to make sure that all the information on that transaction is all good, even if something were to happen. Well, obviously I stated earlier that there's a Bitcoin Explorer where you can see every single transaction that is made. So the problem of discretion is over. And I didn't mention the answers to the problems of them that third party trying to screw you over. Well, those problems are solved because there are implications in the blockchain that make it to where no one can steal your information. And so also some experts say that the biggest problem with it is that it's computer ran. It can obviously be hacked since there's no humans behind it. Well, if the blockchain were to be hacked, the only 2 purposes that the blockchain have is to obviously maintain all the records, but it also prints new coins or mints new coins that can be put on that specific blockchain if like there's not enough or they run out or something, they need more supply, or actually, yeah, those are the only two. So, and let's say someone gained enough CPU power, computer power to overrule all of the computer nodes inside the blockchain. Well, the only two things that a hacker could accomplish from that is they could reverse their own transaction, because whatever their computer that they're on, it links to the blockchain, and so they could only steal back their money. And then if they did that, the Bitcoin would automatically transfer back over through mechanisms employed that Satoshi Nakamoto stated. So that wouldn't really work or be a big problem. Now, the next one is minting coins. So if a hacker goes in and just wants to mint coins, the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to make the price of that certain coin go down. So really, it's a lose-lose situation if you try to hack the blockchain, which I'm sure there has been people to do that haven't read up on it, and that those are the only two things you can do. So nothing's really been affected since the blockchain started. So in Satoshi Nakamoto's document, he actually states that it would honestly be more profitable if the hackers just played the game how everybody else played it, which I think is also a cool analogy, saying that it's kind of a game for them. Also another thing that it solves is those transaction fees on the blockchain are much less than those transaction fees that the third party institution would imply on you, because those would be $1,000. They'd be taking a cut of whatever you're getting, and it's just usual to them. So limiting that whole third party is honestly, I don't see a problem with it at all. Now that we know about the blockchain, let's talk about what problems it solves. Let's talk about the cryptocurrency markets. So crypto markets are basically just like stock markets in a way, but it's often been known as the safer stock market. Now, the cryptocurrency market is the same as if people buy a lot of that coin, it'll go way up. If people sell a lot of it, it'll go way down. But the reason it is called that safer stock market is because every single stock, there is a big corporation tied to that stock. So there are constantly being deals to be made to make sure that their stocks go up or down. So there's no corporation tied to the blockchain. There's nothing tied to it. There's no humans that could, let's say I bought a bunch of Tesla and then they cut a deal to go private, or they cut a couple of deals to make their stock go up even more or down for any reason. I have nothing to do with that, and there's nothing I can do about that because it's tied to that corporation. Now obviously with the blockchain, there's nobody that runs it. It's just computer nodes, so there's no bias, there's no manipulating those computer nodes, and there's no changing anything about it. So that's why it's called the safer stock market. And Shaheen Talib from Najin University, she states that Bitcoin is affected by the trend change in the US dollar's quoted price series of the asset. Now, this is a trend awareness-based interaction. Now, what that means is, if you know anything about the stock market, a trend awareness-based interaction basically means, used to describe the stock market and how, like, if a global catastrophe happens, then it also makes the stock market go down and people sell. So it is affected by how people buy and sell, but there's other things that happen in the world that makes people buy or sell. And what she was saying, Najin was saying, is that happens with the cryptocurrency as well. So it's not tied to a corporation. It goes exactly how the stock market goes. So that's why it's called the safer stock market. Now, based on all this information that I've told you about the blockchain, who was created by the anonymous person it was created by. It may have been created by for some sketchy reasons or sketchy reasonings, but it still helps us today. I've told you the problems that it solves, the trust problem. There isn't a whole lot that Bitcoin was created for certain reasons, and there's not a single way that it's been disproved that why it was created. It's like, well, no, it doesn't work that way because of whatever. So I hope that I've informed you a little bit, and I hope that you learned a little bit. I know that it might be a little bit confusing, and it was very confusing to me in the beginning of it, but I truly hope that $162.7 billion, and yes, billion with a B, profit in 2021. Makes a little bit more sense now. Gotta show y'all.